Hello guys, welcome to Appium framework sections. So we will be officially starting on looking how to develop Appium framework from scratch in upcoming few sections. So let me explain you the plan on how we are going to learn this framework. I have created one approach which will help you to learn this framework very easily by step process. So basically I have divided this whole framework knowledge into two phases, phase 1, phase 2. We will first start with phase 1, and here we are going to learn basics of framework components. Okay, so if you want to develop a robust framework, you need to have a knowledge about one unit testing framework, one build management tool, and how that framework will be integrated with continuous integration, and what is the design pattern, best design pattern in writing automated tests. So all the basics required for development of framework we will discuss in our phase 1. So there will be no Appium topics in this particular phase 1 because we are only concentrating on learning components of the framework. Okay, these are like building blocks. When you want to build a centralized framework, you need to know basics of all these tools before you actually start developing Appium framework. So if I directly start building a framework by talking about this, you will get confused. So that's the reason in phase 1 we will try to understand what all these tools and how these tools help when you are building the framework in very clear manner with detailed examples. Okay, so as I said, do not expect any Appium in the phase 1 because we are just learning the basics of the testing framework tools. Once you are clear with all the basic components, what all you need to develop the framework, then we will jump into phase 2 and we will start building end-to-end framework from scratch. Okay, so before you, I will start creating my basic Maven project. From there we will build Appium tests and then make all the properties which are in Appium in global level, and then bring TestNG into our framework and then bring page object. We will also build custom utilities for Appium, and we will see a lot of methods like how to start and stop Appium server programmatically. Okay, till last lecture, when you want to run one program, you will start Appium server from your command prompt and you will make sure emulator is already open, and then you will trigger your test, isn't it? By end of this framework discussion, okay, you will not open any emulator or you will not start any Appium server. You will not even open Eclipse. From Jenkins, you will just click on build and execute. That's it. Automatically Appium server should start and automatically emulator should invoke, and then your test should start executing on emulator, and once execution is done, your Appium server will stop automatically. Everything should happen on fly without manual intervention. So that's the beauty of framework development. And we will also see how to build some utilities, global properties, and if there is any failure, how to take a screenshot on test failures. Okay, and we will also go through HTML reports, client-side reports, implementing data-driven mechanism, parameterizing your test cases, and then finally making this framework to run on Jenkins tool. Okay, and there are so many cool features we will come across when we are discussing about this end-to-end framework. So when we are talking in the topics of the phase 2, I would refer you to watch phase 1 because here you will learn basics and you will implement what all you learnt in phase 1 in the phase 2. Okay, so that's why don't jump directly into phase 2 before learning the phase 1 lectures. Okay, and the real Appium we will introduce in phase 2 here. So after learning the basics, I will start picking few test cases which we already developed in our earlier lectures, and I will convert that into framework compatible mode, and we will build framework. And again, trust me, before you on a live, I will create a project and I will implement all these features, and by end of this complete framework phases, you will be able to design your own Appium framework from scratch. Okay, and thereafter I will suggest you how to prepare for interviews, especially when you are targeting architect role for mobile automation building. And one important thing you need to observe here, this framework what I am developing is a generic one, and it may apply to both iOS and Android. But of course, I will be showing Android test cases execution in this framework, but you can apply the same framework, same principles for iOS as well. The only difference is that page objects. For Android test cases, you will have objects of Androids, and if it is iOS app, you will have objects related to iOS, and there is little change in the desired capabilities. You have to set iOS kind of properties, and if it is Android, you need to set Android related properties. That's it. Apart from this, everything is same. Even for iOS, you need to learn all these concepts and you need to build framework in the same way. Okay, do not assume that trainer only taught Android framework but not iOS. The framework what I am showing is a generic one, but we will be using Android test cases to run the test in the framework. If you are having iOS with you, then change the app to iOS, change the page objects to whatever you see in iOS, and change the desired capabilities of what all we discussed on iOS. That's it. And this framework will now convert into iOS. But all the features will remain same. Please be note on that, because just because I need to teach on iOS, it's waste of time to repeat again all the topics for iOS. It's a duplicate effort of 8 to 10 hours. Okay, so that's it. That's all I want to tell. Let's quickly start with phase 1 in our next section, and do remember that each of the sections are independent to each other, and there will be no connection after you complete TestNG. So once you are done with TestNG videos, and when you start with Maven, again Maven will be from scratch. I am not connecting the dot from where I left on TestNG. So when you are in phase 1, all these 4 blocks, 4 tools, whatever you see here, you will learn them independently. Once you get knowledge on all the tools independently, then we will connect all these dots in the phase 2. Okay, be aware of that. Alright, so let's meet in the next section with our TestNG basics, and we'll take it from there. All the best and stay excited, and you are on the way to learn the Appium framework. Alright, thank you.